This is 7.2, multiplying polynomials. You guys have been multiplying polynomials for quite some time. You just didn't know they were called polynomials. So let's look at this first one. So it looks like I just have the distributive property. 2 times parentheses x plus 3. Well, notice, what is this? I mean, that's a monomial. And what is this? That's a binomial. And so you guys have been doing multiplying polynomials for quite some time. It's just you didn't know you were actually you didn't know they were called polynomials. So all we're going to do is still use the distributive property. So 2 times each of these, and so the result will be 2 times x, and then 2 times 3 would be plus 6. And so that's multiplying polynomials. It's the same thing what we've been doing. It's just now we know that they're called polynomials. So again, here is a monomial times a monomial, and we're just going to multiply it. So 4 times 6 is 24. And then x squared times x cubed. Remember, when you multiply like basis, you add the exponent. So this would be x to the 5th power. And so on this last one, we have a monomial right here, monomial, and we're going to multiply it by a trinomial. Well, we just use the distributive property. So this is 18 x to the 5th power. Remember to add those exponents. And then minus 36 x to the 4th power. Remember to add those exponents. And then minus 27 x cubed. And just as a side note, remember the answer is in descending order. Always write your answer in descending order. So again, I can ask you to classify this too. So it's a trinomial, and it's a 5th degree. We have 5th degree trinomial. So we could continue to classify our polynomials, but make sure the answer is in descending order. All right, the most common that we're always going to do, most common is a binomial times a binomial. And let me show you how to do this, because there's several ways we could do it. The most common way is the way we have written here. We're just going to use the distributive property, but we're going to use it twice. So first we're going to take this first, and we're going to use x times both of these, which is going to give us x squared plus 2x. And then we're going to come back and use the distributive property with positive 4. So positive 4 times both of those. So that would be positive 4x plus 8. And I want you to notice that the two middle terms, we always need to simplify. And notice the two middle terms are like terms. And so our final answer in descending order, we're just going to combine those together, 6x, and then that's plus 8. So my final answer would be this. It's really nothing but the distributive property done twice. Now, something I do want to point out to you, there's also another way to do it instead of using this. You could actually set up a chart, x plus 4. And then you have x plus 2. And you're going to sit here and multiply those to be able to get to your answer. All right, so x times x would be x squared. You just basically multiply the columns and the rows. And then x times 2 is 2x, and then 4 times x is 4x, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So if you want to set it up as a chart, you could. And notice all of these is what you would add together. And then notice you combine those together. So you're still going to get the same answer. So if you want to set up a chart, some people like setting up a chart. And because it seems more organized and multiplying that way, that's fine. Not a problem, especially when it comes to negatives and stuff. You can do that if you want, but it's not necessarily to do the chart. So here we're going to use, I'm not going to do a chart here, but you could. I'm just going to use the distributive property. And so x times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. And then 5 times x is 5x. And 5 times 1 is 5. And notice the two middle terms, combine those together, and that's 6x. Something I also want to point this out, notice what we did. This is often called the FOIL method, all right? Because what we did is we multiplied the first ones, x times x, And then we did the outer ones, x times 1, got us x. And then we did the inner ones, we did the two inside ones. And then we did the last ones, we did 5 times the 2 last terms in the parentheses. So a lot of times in most textbooks and websites, they call it the FOIL method. And basically it's the distributive property done twice. Again, I'm going to do 2 more examples just to show you, because these are very common problems, just to make sure you understand how to do them. And you should get quite fast with these problems, because these are going to happen all year long in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry. It's going to happen in many classes using the FOIL method. So 2x times 5x is 10x squared. And then 2x times -1 is -2x. And then come back and use the distributive property again, so that's 15x, and then -3. And again, notice the 2 middle terms. They can be combined together. So that's my final answer. One more example. We're going to multiply those together. That's going to give us 12x squared, -20x. Be careful on the negatives. And again, notice this is a -2. -2 times 3. That's a -6x, and -2 times -5, that's a +10. Pay attention to the signs. The 2 middle terms combined together be -26x. And notice the answer is in descending order. All right, one last example is you have a binomial times a trinomial. Well, again, there's several ways I want to show you how to do this. The way that I would recommend is just to keep doing the distributive property. We're basically going to take this 2x, and we're going to distribute it to all 3 terms. So that would be, if you did it this way, it'd be 6x. I'm going to run out of space here, so I'm going to write it below it. So 6x cubed, remember to add like exponents. Or add like, when you multiply like bases, you add the exponents. So that's 6x cubed. And then you have 2x times 4x, that's 8x squared. And then 2x times -1, that's -2x. And then you come back and use the distributive property with +7. So +7 times 3x squared is 21x squared. +7 times 4x is 28x. And then +7 times -1 is -7. Now remember, you got to combine like terms. And so I want you to pay attention what is like terms. So you have 8x minus 2x are like terms. And then you also have 21x squared. Whoops, I made a mistake. This is 8x squared right here. 2x times 4x. So let me back it up here. Should have realized that. You shouldn't have like terms right back to there. So 8x squared. Okay, so everything is good now. All right, sometimes you got to double check those exponents, and it's a good example. Some of us, even the best of us, make mistakes. So you got to be careful on those exponents. So here 6x or 6x cubed, and then but notice that that's going to go first. But 8x squared and 21x squared, those are like terms. And then we have -2x and 28x, those are like terms. And so the final answer would be 6x cubed, and then plus 29x squared, plus 26x, and then finally -7. All right, so that's one way to do it. If you wanted to write it as a chart, again, what you could do is the same thing. So you have 3x squared, 4x, and -1, and you have 2x, and then 7, and kind of just basically do a chart system. And so you could do the exact same thing. So this would be 6x cubed, 8x squared, minus 2x, 21x squared. Again, I'm just doing column times row. I've got to get to my answer, 28x, and then -7. And then, you're just going to combine like terms. These are like terms, and so are those. Those are like terms. To do that. And then you just add them together, and it would give us the same exact answer. One last way you could do this, just wanted to throw this out, You could, some textbooks and websites emphasize multiplying vertically. And so this is sort of like if I had a 3-digit number, let's say 341 times 27. If I had to do that, how would I actually multiply that? And so you'd go through that same pattern. You would first take 7 times, -1 times 4x times 3x, just like you would take 7 times 1, 7 times 4, 7 times 20, 7 times 3. So you would do the exact same thing and then multiply it just like you would do it in the same fashion as this. But again, as an educator myself, math teacher for many years, I noticed a lot of students who do it this way end up making a mistake. You can do it, nothing's wrong with it. Most students that I've been teaching just do it this way, using the distributive property. A couple students do the chart, and I've rarely seen students do it vertically, unless, again, the instructions specifically ask you to do that, to multiply vertically. So I just wanted to point out all the possible ways of how to multiply polynomials.